Good evening, this is the Oscar expert here with Brother Bro. It is time for our updated Oscar predictions. These are long overdue. We haven't given you this since October, and so much has happened. Golden Globes, SAGs, Critics' Choice, starting off with Best Picture. I still have The Irishman at number one, but I'm super hesitant about this now. It has become a three-horse race, ladies and gentlemen. We have Parasite, and we have Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Now, Parasite predictedly is doing extremely well. Metacritic has a great tally of all the film critics circles and all the precursors, and they tally up who's been winning the most and who's been getting the most nominations. Parasite is winning. This is kind of predictable. Roma went this route last year, but it does make it one of the frontrunners. The Irishman's doing very well. It's winning a lot of awards, but it almost feels like the early frontrunner status, you can kind of feel that it might start to come back and bite the movie.
But what is also winning a lot of awards here, Cole?
Surprisingly, to me at least, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
It's winning an almost equal amount of awards to The Irishman. Am I wrong about that?
It's close.
So Parasite's leading, and then it's Irishman in Hollywood. This is just critic circles, so this isn't necessarily what's going to happen at the Oscars. But it shows that there is a lot of love for Hollywood, because I thought maybe it was a Dunkirk movie where it comes in the beginning of the year. Dunkirk didn't really win awards. Star Wars was kind of like that, but Hollywood's actually winning awards.
Oh yeah.
And I am anticipating maybe he takes a really important director prize somewhere, maybe the Golden Globes. They're all strong director contenders. What can we say? I don't know if people are going to think The Irishman's too boring and too long. I think that's the main thing about it. I'm sure you have an uncle or an aunt who watched The Irishman and they just thought it was okay. It was a little boring for them, a little long of a movie. In a way, Parasite seems to be the widest because it's the most crowd-pleasing, appealing movie. But Parasite's foreign. That's the thing, has never happened ever.
Hollywood is aging well. People are watching the movie again,
Yeah,
and they're finding more to appreciate.
It's topping critics' lists, too.
But so far, Hollywood has not missed a single beat. SAGs, Critics' Choice, Golden Globes. It's a top contender. Yeah, this is a three-horse race. I would love to see it go to Parasite out of any of these three, and Parasite could truly pull it off because it's so well-liked, and that preferential ballot is going to help it. Roma didn't not win because it was foreign. Honestly, Roma probably didn't win because it was kind of boring for a lot of people. Parasite doesn't have this problem.
We haven't had an easy frontrunner in so many years. When La La Land looked like it was finally going to be that movie that sweeps, Moonlight came in. When Spotlight started winning awards, The Revenant came up, started creeping in, won the BAFTA, won the Golden Globe. I'm still wondering if Jojo Rabbit could emerge. I just still have that in the back of my mind.
I don't think so, because Jojo hasn't been getting as much director hype as you would expect from a frontrunner. Marriage Story is number 4. That horse is not gonna finish first. Unfortunately, that would be my personal pick, but I will settle for Parasite. We'll be rejoicing all over the world if Parasite wins. I don't want to, get hopes up unrealistically because, a lot of times what we want to win at the Oscars doesn't happen.
Marriage Story, I have heard more regular people just kind of being yeah, it was okay.
They all have a chance to take the SAG award, frankly. If Parasite wins SAG, fuck. This year's gonna be crazy. A lot of stuff could split up, and that's what's gonna make it fun, and it's gonna make me freak out.
Yeah, it could be really split. This year could be a fucking hoot. So get your ass ready.
All right, number 5 is 1917. When the reviews started coming out, people were like, oh my god, this could be the new frontrunner, and it's not really happening like that. This movie's obviously winning some Oscars below the line, but it's not a frontrunner in picture and director, although it's a lock. Joker is 6. It's big. It's happening. Director nomination at the Golden Globes. Are the Oscars next?
Will the Golden Globes give it Best Drama? That's my question. Joker, I think, is going to get a lot of votes for Best Picture. I don't know if it can get the most votes, but
next is Jojo Rabbit. This movie's doing pretty well. Little Women.
So many people, love it. And then Gerwig's already getting, people are backlashing because this movie's not getting nominated. So they fully expect to see it at the Oscars. I fully expect to see it at the Oscars.
Ford vs. Ferrari. It's doing well enough. It got a Critics' Choice nomination.
That's it.
It didn't get a Golden Globe nomination, and it was snubbed at the AFI Top 10.
But Bale has been getting nominated.
Bale's been getting nominated.
And I feel like at the Academy Awards, that would go along with Best Picture. It doesn't have to, but
this is a crowd pleaser that the Oscars are going to eat
I
up.
feel like this is Joe Schmo's movie.
And at 10, we have The Two Popes. This is right on the fringe. The Critics' Choice didn't care that much. The Golden Globes loved it. They loved it. Certain awards bodies love The Two Popes. If the Oscars are one of them, then here you go.
It's is this the old people? Are these the Philomena voters? It is really hard to tell if they'll put it in because, again, they have to, like, kick something out. I mean, Ford v Ferrari and Two Popes seem to be fighting for a slot number 9.
And Bombshell, I would say.
And then I would say Bombshell might be number 9. You know, we just saw this movie.
Yeah, Bombshell just seemed like a movie that you come out of and you're like, well, that was a really important movie. Keyword important. Entertaining. Has 3 performances you can nominate, bro. Even, like, could surprise as a screenplay nominee or something.
I think Bombshell is a big, like, crowd movie. It's not going to be the critics' favorite movie. I wouldn't be upset at all if it ended up in Best Picture. I think it's, like, one of the most important movies this year. It's kind of Oscar bait. And it definitely was made to get in there. It was made to be at the Oscars in the Best Picture category, have that conversation, reach the awards season, and will the awards voters be able to resist this?
It also really dominated the SAGs. And, you know, that doesn't always indicate, but, like, 4 SAG nominations,
that's a really good sign, though.
Let's not ignore that. The Farewell didn't get a Critics' Choice nomination. That says enough to me that it's not getting on my top 10. Like, that was where it should have gotten nominated. Like, the critics.
And the fact that it didn't show up at the SAGs, I don't think it'll show up at the PGA. Bombshell, I think, will show up at the PGA, actually. I think that'll secure, like, a slot in the top 10. The Farewell, do not think that will happen.
I could also see, like, Knives Out being a PGA movie, too. It's kind of like a sensation right now.
Molly's Game, maybe? Like a solo screenplay movie?
Yeah, everyone's like kind of collectively like, oh my god, Knives Out. Oh, what a fun original movie. It made it on the AFI top 10.
I want the Oscars to Phantom Thread Portrait of a Lady on Fire, where it doesn't get nominated anywhere, and then all of a sudden the Oscars come out of the woodwork and say, we loved the movie. Give it to us.
Uncut Gems is last. I really don't think that this is very possible. But the fact that it showed up at Critics' Choice in some major categories is the only reason why it's here.
I think you can look out for it, but I wouldn't expect it.
Best Director. I moved Bong Joon-ho to the top.
Really?
Because the Golden Globes, I can see it happening at the Golden Globes. I can see the Critics' Choice doing it. I can see BAFTA doing it. The gap that Parasite has over The Irishman in picture, it is even a larger gap if you look at, like, director wins. So that tells me that if there's to be a split, he can easily just, like, take director. Maybe there won't be a split and it wins both, but Bong Joon-ho is the talk of the town. Scorsese's hard to beat, though, because The Irishman is such a movie that, like, is integral to his career.
He's so well respected. That's the whole thing. You know, the project itself is ambitious, but the craft was not ambitious.
The Critics' Choice disagree, Justin. They gave that movie like 1 trillion nominations. And then Tarantino's strong too. He hasn't won a director Oscar. I don't see like Hollywood winning director and then The Irishman or Parasite winning picture. That just seems kind of weird to me. Like, I don't see him winning. But he's hit every beat. Tarantino is not snubbable. Sam Mendes is also looking very strong. He's getting all the nominations he needs. But he's not becoming a frontrunner.
Whatever happens to the Critics' Choice with picture and director, it's going to become the frontrunner. Yeah, and I can easily see Parasite winning picture and director at the Critics' Choice, and so I think Parasite actually might have a really good run as the frontrunner.
But until the PGA could go for like Hollywood. What is my number 5? It's Joker for director. That's right.
What?
Yep. Let me explain. That director nomination at the Globes seemed like a shock, didn't it? Well, we might not be done being shocked, and maybe we shouldn't even be shocked anymore. Joker is one of the most liked movies of the year, and I think everybody's in on it. Why wouldn't it get a director nomination? I honestly think it's one of the top contenders.
2 arguments here. Number 1, Taika Waititi.
He hasn't gotten anything.
Number 2, Little Women. Everybody's shouting her name to get nominated for director, and it's for a movie that many people think it's like very worthy of this. By the time it gets around to the Oscars, do they face enough backlash? Is there so much awareness around Gerwig that she gets in?
I don't think the Oscars give a fuck about the backlash. They're gonna vote for what they want to vote for. Critics like it more than the audiences will. The critics are going to be the ones saying it's one of the best of the year, and then most audiences who aren't like Gerwig fans are going to be like, I liked it. That was an 8 out of 10. And then critics are going to be like, but did you like notice how good it was? They're going to be like, yeah, it was a solid movie.
Direct category of the Oscars always fucks up something weird.
Baumbach, what's happening to Baumbach right now, Justin? Snubbed for the Golden Globe. He's not showing up. He's just not like a priority for people because his movie wasn't like a giant ambitious thing. Even though
Yeah.
it wasn't like obviously ambitious.
Well, this is one of those things where I could see the Academy going for it, even though other people don't. Although I still wouldn't predict him.
Baumbach has not like taken out anybody. He's not taking down, others and showing that he is dominant. He's not dominant. He's the one
He's
who gets
a beta.
swapped out. Best actor, Joaquin Phoenix is winning. I really think this is happening. Rami Malek, it's the same thing. The performance is so popular. People are going, oh, Joaquin Phoenix needs the Oscar! Joaquin Phoenix needs the Oscar! For miles. Adam Driver's winning all the critics awards. And that makes sense. And he deserves them. That's a performance for the critics. But, you can't beat, crazy wacko acting. You just can't beat transformation shit.
I also think it's this thing that Joker, weirdly enough, has, wider appeal than Marriage Story does. I would vote for Driver in a fucking heartbeat because I think that, that performance is just, it's the best of this year. But, I'm probably in the minority of people who are, crazy gung-ho about Marriage Story. That's, a letterboxed critic community, I think. Regular people are gonna see more in Joaquin Phoenix. He does the most. I mean, if you think of it as, the most acting award, he does the most.
Driver's gonna win the Critics' Choice, and then Phoenix is gonna win the Golden Globe and the SAG easily. That's just how it's gonna go down. Leonardo DiCaprio, number 3, because he has not missed a beat. He got SAG, Critics' Choice, and Golden Globe, and we cannot say that for anybody else except for these top 3. So why wouldn't you have DiCaprio at number 3? The rest of this top 10 is a clusterfuck of maybes. For number 4, I have Banderas, who
After missing the SAG.
missed the SAG award. However, the Oscars are really good at nominating foreign language performances more so than the SAGs. I mean, look at Yalitza and Marina de Tavira. When you have somebody contending in a foreign language film, you don't expect them to get nominated everywhere. Banderas does have a Golden Globe and a Critics' Choice. I made a little spreadsheet, and if he gets the BAFTA, his odds of getting the Oscar based on things that have happened in the decade are really good, despite missing the SAG. And I think he's likely to get the BAFTA, because that's a European movie.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think the 4 and 5 slots are shaky, and he probably has the best shot at getting in.
5, this is tentative as fuck. Christian Bale's here. I don't know what to do. Christian Bale got the Golden Globe and the SAG, which is huge. It's huge. He missed the Critics' Choice. He can still rebound. And he has a decent shot at BAFTA, being British. So does Taron Egerton right under him, who also got the Golden Globe and the SAG nomination. So if someone gets the SAG and the BAFTA, they're on my list. They are on my list. The SAG and the BAFTA individually are better predictors than Gold Derby. That makes Christian Bale and Taron Egerton very likely for me if those two get the BAFTA, and they're both British, and they might. Jonathan Pryce is next.
Why do you not have De Niro next?
Why is Pryce above De Niro, as you are saying? Pryce gets in if they love the Popes. There is a chance that they love the Popes. I can see Pryce getting the BAFTA. Again, BAFTA matters. Pryce only has a Golden Globe. Robert De Niro only has a Critics' Choice. The fact that he didn't get a Golden Globe or a SAG, how weak do you have to be, bro?
He seemed to be really strong, and he actually is genuinely great in The Irishman, however subtle he may be.
Past 10 years Best Actor nominees, nobody has gotten just a Critics' Choice nomination and then got the Oscar nomination.
I mean, it makes him unlikely, but it doesn't make it impossible.
Nobody's done it, though. So it's
But this is Robert De Niro. If someone could do it, it might be him.
Bale took De Niro's spot at both those places.
I'll still agree with you. Bale is technically a bigger contender. Price for Two Popes is if Two Popes gets in. And we don't know about that.
Eddie Murphy, still kind of in the game.
I'd be shocked if he got
Adam
in.
Sandler's not happening. I'm so sorry. He's absolutely Ethan Hawke. He's literally checked every box that Ethan Hawke has. Actress, Renee Zellweger Judy. Frontrunner. In fact, she's winning, aside from Lupita Nyong'o, which we'll get to, she's winning the most awards here. They're not siding with Charlize Theron and Scarlett Johansson in a significant way. Renee is a huge frontrunner. Saoirse Ronan in Little Women, this is not a guarantee. She did get the Golden Globe, even though Little Women didn't get major nominations.
And she's Critics' Choice.
Cynthia Erivo also has not missed a beat. She's gotten everything so far, so why wouldn't you predict her?
Yeah, she's number 5 for sure. This is definitely the top 5, I think.
And then Lupita's number 6. Earlier we said, Lupita has no shot. That's wrong now. She has a shot. She's winning the most awards, period. Now, these are not the major awards.
But again, I think she's winning these awards because people know she's not going to get nominated for an Oscar.
But she got a SAG nomination, Justin. I mean, that's like... That separates her from just being the critical darling. Sandler didn't get a SAG nomination. Like, she's got a SAG nomination. Alfre Woodard Clemency, she hasn't gotten nominated anywhere, so she's very unlikely, but that movie's coming out so late that it could do a little surge.
And it seems like they did a shitty job campaigning her because she hasn't even gotten nominated at the Critics' Choice Awards. Like, come on.
And Awkwafina in The Farewell, kind of done to me. I mean, yeah, she's going to win a Golden Globe, like, by lack of competition. But, yeah, The Farewell, probably not going to do that well at the Oscars, unfortunately. Supporting actor, Brad Pitt, total frontrunner. You know, we thought maybe Al Pacino was going to threaten this position, but if anybody's threatening it, it's actually Pesci. Brad Pitt is winning the most awards so far. Hollywood's doing extremely well, and Brad Pitt is just winning. Joe Pesci and Al Pacino both have all the major nominations they need. They got Critics' Choice, Golden Globe, and SAG. Pesci's above Al Pacino because he's won more awards. Tom Hanks' Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. This is snubbable territory. It's dangerous when you have somebody who's the lone nominee in supporting. Think about Timothée Chalamet in Beautiful Boy. Didn't happen. That was dangerous. Even though he got like every nomination, Anthony Hopkins and The Two Popes is number 5. He didn't get the SAG. He missed the SAG. But, you know, Hopkins is looking pretty good here. He's not a lock. You know, I think he's likely going to squeeze his way in there.
I hope he does.
And Jamie Foxx for Just Mercy kind of gets a little slingshot up because he got a SAG nomination. And that means a lot. Song Kang-ho in Parasite is someone who I could kind of see surging late. He hasn't gotten major nominations. He didn't get Critics' Choice, so he's not looking that likely. But if he scores a BAFTA, watch the hell out. And then Willem Dafoe for The Lighthouse, who only has a Critics' Choice. It's not looking like he's going to happen. Supporting actress, Laura Dern is frontrunner. She is sweeping awards, and she's probably going to continue this. You know, I don't really see why other people would start winning. Jennifer Lopez, people think can like pull off a Golden Globe. We'll see about that. Margot Robbie, Bombshell. Nicole Kidman, number 4. This might be a surprise because she only has a SAG nomination. I mean, that's huge, but Bombshell's looking to surge lately. We just watched the movie, and I was like, Nicole Kidman's fucking good. She's just as good as the other two, and I don't understand why
they've
people aren't
nominated
saying
people
so.
for much less, and she does just as much as Margot Robbie in the movie. I'm not surprised she got the SAG nomination.
Yeah.
She's gonna get the Oscar nomination. I'm pretty fucking confident in this.
Florence Pugh, Little Women. Florence Pugh's having a little trouble catching on with the major awards, but like the critic circles are really helping her out. They're giving her support. Zhao Shuzhen. I'm not surprised that the SAGs and the Golden Globes didn't nominate her just because it's not their thing to nominate little indie performances.
Yeah, it just sucks because the only reason she's not getting nominated is because of her, like, people don't know who she is. It's just very obviously like one of the best performances this year in any category.
This category is really competitive because Scarlett Johansson for Jojo Rabbit's number 7, but she has a Critics' Choice and a SAG nomination, and those are both really
in comparison to what every single person we just read. This would be so lame if she got in.
Kathy Bates, Richard Jewell. I think that she gets National Board of Review recognition because of Clint Eastwood, and then the Golden Globes nominate her, and then that's like it, and it's dead out from there.
Because Richard Jewell is getting more negative reviews recently. That's
bombed at the box office.
Oh, so that is the issue. That's the death of Kathy Bates. Because I mean, it seems like she can't really do it if the movie bombed. I mean, they're not going to campaign her. You know, they don't have the funds.
Annette Bening, The Report. She got Golden Globe. That's it. Original screenplay, Marriage Story. I'm not even confident that this is going to win anymore. I think Parasite could win.
No, I still think Marriage Story will win.
But if Parasite wins Best Picture, if we skip screenplay, go to Marriage Story, and the director go to Bong Joon-ho, we're having a great Oscars ceremony, folks. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood even is like somewhat of a possibility if it's a frontrunner, but you know, these other two are just stronger. Knives Out, looking like a sturdy lone nomination.
I wouldn't call it sturdy. Knives Out doesn't need to happen.
The Farewell, it still looks kind of strong to maybe squeeze in a screenplay.
It definitely deserves screenplay. I really hope The Farewell can get nominated here. I think Bombshell is as likely as Knives Out and The Farewell for a screenplay nomination. It's going to get the WGA, we think. I think it'll get PGA. I think it's on a strong track for a screenplay nomination, but it's not locked. I feel like it's like 50-50. It's a late blooming movie, so it could slide into screenplay.
Yeah, I agree.
Over time.
You know,
and You know, it had a lot of good, like, zingers.
It did.
One-liners.
Very witty, smart.
And very informative. I would put Bombshell in my top 5 somewhere. I would take out Knives Out of the Farewell. We'll do a coin flip. I would watch out for that movie.
And Uncut Gems, like, maybe if they want to, like, throw it a bone, but it didn't even get this at the, Critics' Choice, so I don't see that happening. Adapted screenplay, The Irishman's winning. Irishman is still strong and winning.
Yeah.
Jojo Rabbit, number 2. The Two Popes is also looking like a lock. If this movie gets 1 nomination, this would be it. Little Women is also, like, really strong to get in for screenplay. And Joker is number 5. This is gonna happen, folks. Like, you might think, oh, Joker's not really a screenplay movie.
We thought it too.
Everyone from every branch is gonna think that everything about Joker is impressive. And
it's been getting nominations.
It's been getting nominations, that's right. I don't see anything else getting it over. I mean, this is, the remaining, like, serious Best Picture possibility in this category. Of course it's going to get nominated, I think.
I think number 6 should be Hustlers here.
Well, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood got the Critics' Choice. That's why it's over Hustlers. Moving on to the technicals, we got cinematography. 1917 is obviously winning, and it has been sweeping as expected. Hollywood's looking like a lock. Joker's looking like a lock. Almost anyone can agree that Joker, like, deserves a cinematography nomination too. And Joker has been dominating technicals where technical nominations ensue. Lighthouse is gonna happen. Lighthouse is gonna get a cinematography nomination because they can't resist the black and white shit. And The Irishman just is getting the nominations it needs so far. The Critics' Choice nominated it here. They also nominated it for basically everything.
That's the thing where I'm, like, distrustful. Because the Academy's more picky. The branches like to prove that their expertise. The cinematography branch last year nominated 3 foreign films. So they like to go out of their way and not just say, like, oh yeah, we like Ford v Ferrari as a movie, so let's nominate that for cinematography. Like, no, they do their own thing. Here, where people think The Irishman, and I also am not convinced that The Irishman's going to get costumes and production design. I think we could see the cinematography branch go out on a limb and do Portrait of a Lady on Fire if it gets the BAFTA nomination.
No, if it gets an ASC nomination. If the ASC also, like, gives you some kind of special award, like Ida won, like, a special award at the ASC for some reason, I will maybe put on Portrait of a Lady on Fire because it has been climbing up the list. The word has been spreading.
Female cinematographer. I don't know why this narrative hasn't been there longer. Portrait of a Lady on Fire, one of the best directed movies of the year, if not, like, the top, just as good as Parasite, just as good as all these other movies. Female director, female cinematographer. Why are we talking about Alma Harrell? Who needs to even mention Hustlers in this conversation, which was well directed, when you have Portrait of a Lady on Fire, which is, like, astonishingly
I don't understand.
made.
Parasite is somewhat getting recognition for cinematography. I don't think it's, like, the movie's, like, most outstanding thing about it. And then A Hidden Life, it hasn't been getting anything, but I suppose could pull off a surprise.
Yeah, they could just be like, yeah, we love that shit.
Editing. Irishman, winning. Ford v Ferrari, definitely getting nominated. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, as a top contender, it gets editing. And I think the same goes for Parasite. Like, Parasite deserves an editing nomination.
I see Parasite
getting really exciting, entertaining montages and everything.
Parasite had exceptionally good editing. Just because of how entertaining they made that movie and how, like, quick and breezy it was.
Yes, they might over-nominate Joker. Yes, they might. Joker might get an editing nomination.
Oh, wait,
whoa. Joker did score an Eddie nomination, albeit, like, they have enough categories to easily fit every contender in.
Yeah, I would look out for Joker. I'd also look out for Jojo Rabbit here.
I would look out for Jojo Rabbit,
also
too.
pretty likely. Okay. What I don't think is as likely, which you have around the same area, is Marriage Story.
How do you not think that? I mean, okay.
I think Marriage Story has excellent editing, but it's not flashy editing.
Marriage Story is in trouble here. Let's be honest. 1917 has actually been getting a lot of editing nominations. It's one of the most nominated movies in this category. But why do we think that they're going to Birdman it? I just answered the question in the question. They're going to Birdman it, folks.
Editing branch is not going to want to nominate a movie with no cuts. Sorry.
Uncut Gems, they just, like, wouldn't go out of their way to nominate something, like, just in editing. It's just sort of, it's not really something they do. Little Women probably wouldn't get it either. That would be a big surprise. It just hasn't been a movie that's contending there. Bombshell, if this movie happens to get screenplay and picture, it could go along. I don't know.
This one I like here. The Two Popes had very flashy editing,
And
like
nobody
big
has
short
been-
level editing, where they're cutting away to stuff that you wouldn't even think makes sense.
Production design. We resisted saying this earlier, but Hollywood's winning. Hollywood has been sweeping. Everywhere that it can win awards, it's been winning awards. It's going to win the Critics' Choice, and then from there, it's just going to front-runner status it to the Oscars.
Yeah, I think like creating like that retro old Hollywood feeling is just like getting it recognized in a year where I don't think there's like any flashy production design movies.
1917 is kind of a runner-up, though. I think that could win.
Yeah, they have to build the whole trench and they have to make it long and they're 360 sets and
Parasite, I think that they've achieved like spreading the word about the story behind the production design, and the Critics' Choice nominated it. I think we're good. Parasite's going to get nominated here, which is nice. Just like Roma. And Joker is getting a lot of nominations here.
It
from the
deserves it.
80s.
It
It does
definitely
deserve
deserve
it.
it.
The world building in Joker was fantastic, and nobody could deny that. Jojo Rabbit didn't get a Critics' Choice.
right, but it didn't do well at the Critics' Choice overall. Like really, I mean, it showed up at the Costume and Art Directors Guild. They could have snubbed it if they wanted to. So they're paying attention. The guilds are really paying attention to Jojo Rabbit, where the Critics' Choice didn't. I think it's going to do costume production design, just like we said earlier in the year. And it's going to go home with like a handful of nominations.
The Irishman could get nominated here, but Goodfellas wasn't nominated, Departed wasn't nominated. Don't really see why this would be different. Little Women is a movie I can see getting costumes and not production design. Sometimes those two
It
go
probably
hand in
deserves
hand.
production design, but like it might just not.
Carol, Phantom Thread, Jackie. That's all. Cats. We had this one like at number 1 last time, I think, Justin. But
Yeah.
it might have the best production, most flashy, best production design. But I think people are staying away from the movie.
It could still come back up. I wouldn't count it out.
Costume design. We got Little Women, which didn't get the Guild, but I think that's more likely an issue of having not seen it. I could see this taking the Critics' Choice. I could also see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood taking the Critics' Choice. People really appreciate Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's look. Honestly, Dolomite could win costumes. Not necessarily the kind of movie that wins big at Critics' Choice and stuff, but maybe it will win big. We'll have to wait and see, because it's not really a huge contender in most other categories. Downton Abbey, I think, could get nominated because it got production design, costumes at Critics' Choice. It actually is popping up here and there in certain categories like makeup and costumes. I feel like it'll pop up maybe somewhere at the Oscars, and this is the one place. Irishman, I have no idea why this is getting costume nominations, but it kind of is. So it could get nominated, but it shouldn't.
It's Sandy Powell.
It's just men in suits. They refused to nominate that with Bridge
Well,
and Spies.
people are like, every tie is perfect, but I think, yeah, they will probably skip over that one because it's men in suits.
Best score. 1917, winning score, just like cinematography, it's sweeping all the awards that it can. Marriage Story, there's no way that they're not going to nominate this one. Joker's score is also, very much in there for the nomination. Little Women has been checking all the boxes, even the Golden Globes, who didn't love it, still nominated the score. I have us here sort of tentatively, because this category is not very strong. Star Wars, I just moved off. Why did I move off Star Wars? Because at the time that you're watching this video, the embargo for Star Wars will be out and the reviews will be very disappointing. That movie, might underperform by virtue of being the worst of the trilogy. I don't know if I see us making it all the way, but Motherless Brooklyn is obviously the Golden Globe nomination. That's weird and nobody else nominates it. That's just how it is.
No, I think Motherless Brooklyn has a shot at a nomination at the Oscars.
Sound editing. 1917, winning. Ford v Ferrari. Star Wars, I will keep in. Rogue One was not nominated here. And this movie might, as I said, be not that well loved. Maybe it suffers a sound nomination or two, or maybe it just gets in anyway. Sound awards have been going to, Irishman, Joker, and Hollywood a lot, which is kind of crazy. It's all these Best Picture nominees are making it into the technicals. So Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I think, is probably going to get both sound nominations, to be honest. And then Joker could get either or, but it has an easier time in sound editing. Ad Astra is goodbye. Ad Astra's visual effects snub told me they don't give a fuck about this movie and they're gonna snub it for everything they can. By snub, I mean the shortlist for visual effects came out and Ad Astra was not on that list. It was disgusting. Endgame, I don't believe you. I don't believe that Endgame's getting nominated. People think this is happening. I do not agree. I'm sorry. Similar deal with sound mixing, except Rocket Man seems to be in that mix because it is a musical and it features music like Bohemian Rhapsody. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Irishman could get sound mixing. It got the sound mixing guild Joker got that too. So The Irishman and Joker are definitely contenders here. Visual effects. As we know, Ad Astra was fucking snubbed. So it is not here. The Irishman's probably gonna win. Endgame's definitely getting nominated. The Lion King's getting nominated. What is number 5? That is the question. I think Alita Battle Angel is the best shot here. But, you know, they could pull out literally anything. The visual effects depends a lot on the presentation that they give. If they give an excellent presentation, they'll nominate some Christopher Robin shit. Makeup and hair. Irishman was snubbed on the shortlist, so it's just not getting nominated here. Bombshell's gonna win. Darkest Hour level shit. Joker, Judy, and Rocketman look pretty safe. Dolomite and Hollywood are both kind of competing as, like, maybe they can get in for, like, doing a lot of hairstyles and shit. Some American Hustle shit. 1917 made the shortlist, which makes me think this could get, like, a Revenant style nomination. Original song, Rocketman, Frozen 2, Harriet, Lion King, Aladdin. This is an easy top 5. I think this was the Golden Globe top 5, and everything here made the shortlist. So predict this top 5 if you want to win. Animated feature, Toy Story 4, Frozen 2. I Lost My Body is a huge contender right now. It's been winning so many awards. Then we have How to Train Your Dragon, which has been getting lots of nominations, and Missing Link, which is performing so well. Klaus is not performing as well as we might have expected. Weathering with You has not been successful at getting all the animated feature nominations it needs. International feature, Parasite's obviously winning. Pain and Glory, Les Miserables, and Atlantics. This is the top 4 that you're going to want to predict, and then the 5th slot's like really ambiguous. We don't know what's going to happen. We even have Honeyland nominated in international and documentary. I think that would be a first to get nominated in both these categories. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, they could nominate pretty much anything from the shortlist. With the documentary feature, we got Apollo 11's probably going to win, although they snubbed the Gold Derby's number 1 for documentary multiple times. Life Itself, Won't You Be My Neighbor, Jane, also snubbed. Ridiculous. So they'll snub absolutely anything. American Factory, Netflix does well with documentaries, it seems, and that is on Netflix. Honeyland, For Sama, and One Child Nation are my top 5. These other films did well at the Critics' Choice documentary nominations. Biggest Little Farm, Amazing Grace, Made in the Cave, and Knock Down the House. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Is your name Oscar?